Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and I'm on these places here. So we got a few things here to cover. Acer just launched their own version of the RX 7600. Acer is basically kind of again new in the game of GPUs. They had the 770 sorry, ARC GPUs, the 60 gigabyte VRAM, the BiFrost they call it, and they launched another Intel GPU, the 750, and also now the AMD one, the low end, the 7600, which is also with the same kind of BiFrost GPU or version they call it. Which is, it's always good to have more options, even though the 7600 is not the best value performance in the market. Of course, you get better even from previous generation GPUs, even from AMD itself. And in this generation, I think, yeah, we don't have like great things here to do in terms of GPU market regarding like low end or what they call mainstream. I don't call mainstream something that costs 300 plus more for a GPU or around that price. But yeah, at least we got more GPUs from other manufacturers. Maybe we'll get some, I don't know, some competition regarding between the AIBs. To fight a little bit more on the price. This is the prices here are translated from the Chinese prices here. Again, supposedly the 7600 should have a little bit overclock here, which is okay. Supposedly that one, where is it? The OC, it's like 274. It's around the MSRP price, give or take. I think it's 275. They lowered from the 300, something like that. But yeah, it's around that price, at least in terms of translated prices from yuan. I think this is from Chinese currency, if not mistaken. But yeah, it is what it is. It's good to see. I hope Acer just brings more, given that even AMD, the AIB partners, they don't have that much AIBs, at least as much as NVIDIA. It's good to see some more competition. I think they don't have a lot more AIBs, mainly because they don't have like the same kind of volume they produce in terms of GPU chips for AIBs to work with. And of course, for sure, there is behind the scenes some pressure from NVIDIA, because I covered like a week ago or so that NVIDIA basically is pressuring AIB partners not to do AMD GPUs. Which is silly by itself, and of course it usually doesn't work well, because if you stay without partners, I don't know, it's silly, this kind of pressure. If you have a good product, you don't have to be afraid that partners will your partners can partner with the competition if you have a good product, which at this price point in terms of performance, and especially with the naming scheme, NVIDIA does not have at the moment great options regarding price performance uplift for the price they have regarding the previous generation. But yeah, it is what it is. But we got here from NVIDIA, supposedly they are lowering prices, but this is from Newegg, because the ZipTech promo code is from Newegg usually. It's the 4060 Ti, supposedly 60% cheaper, can drop around $335, not a good price still. This card has to be below $300 to make it a good deal. I can live like for with this price if it was launched with a 12 VRAM gigabyte with a little bit more memory bus uplift there. But yeah, this card it's not bad by itself for 1080p, but it will start to struggle supposedly for what it's saying, like 1080p very high. you will start to struggle with some RTX, with some ray tracing stuff there, and some even at 1080p. DLSS supposedly also can utilize a little bit of the VRAM itself, and 8 gigabytes is not enough in some titles for if you want to play 1080p. And if you start going for the higher resolution, it will perform even worse. Yeah, it's good to see that the price has been dropped a little bit, but it's not a good deal, at least from my perspective. It's still not a good deal around that, the $335. It has to be below 300 to make a more compelling argument to buy this GPU. And when the 16 gigabyte variant will come out for $500, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be another DOA than an arrival GPU from Nvidia. They are not selling well. I think AMD needs to do some moves there, some smart moves, not doing the same thing that 7600. 7600 should have been launched at around 250 to make a very compelling argument because of the technology involved, DLSS. So Nvidia can make their case to a certain degree to people that are not so in the GPU market, that they have DLSS free to justify the price uplift, and they have RT in terms of performance is better than the AMD, so they can always do that kind of justification to charge more for their GPUs, even though it's not a good deal. The 4060 and the 4060 Ti at the price that they're at, they are not good, even taking into account this discount here. But yeah, it is what it is. The AMD should launch something to compete around the $350 to $400 mark, like price range there. I don't know if they can launch like a 7700 something or an XT or something like that with uplift in performance. Has to be better than the 7600 XT, which is kind of difficult given that the 6700 XT is pretty good. It's around this kind of price value, which is a better option than the 4060 Ti still. Might not have like the same performance in 1080p, but you can it's a difference between 5%, give or take, if not mistaken. But it can has more VRAM and can play 1440p very decently without without any issues, because of the VRAM quantity, and the memory bus is bigger than the 4060 Ti. But yeah, a lot of stuff need to shuffle around. AMD needs to ramp up their game, stop with the FSR2 shenanigans there with the gaming stuff, and bring the FSR free, because we didn't see anything there. Even at the Hyper RX, I don't think we have anything there also. I don't know what they are doing. They need to put their things together and start working on competition so they can put some pressure. And of course Intel, we don't know if they're going to do a refresh by this year of the Alchemist GPUs, because from what I understood, only by the end of next year they might launch the Battle Mage. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it is the GPU market at this moment. Regarding gaming, we got some news. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, the PC port here, had some specs out. They say no SSD required. To a certain point, no. Almost every game doesn't require an SSD, even though it's recommended. We got some things here. It's not very demanding, from what I understood. It's supposedly it's more demanding per se regarding the SSD. They call it, because this is going to bring out the direct storage 1.1.2 support, which is basically the decompression instead of being made by the CPU, and then that information is sent to the GPU. The DirectX removes that step of the CPU decompressing, and the information goes directly to the GPU to be decompressed and of course processed directly on the GPU, which removes some steps, and to a certain degree it it brings more fluidity and quickness on how things are presented, and supposedly less stuttering and the issues there, from what I understood. And it's not very demanding for 1080p 60 frames. I like to see where these kind of requirements are shown here, like what they are trying to aim for, and give us the hardware specs for that aim there. So 1080p 60 frames per second, we got even a 2060 or a 5700 from AMD can do the job. An i5 8th generation or a 3600 from AMD can do the job pretty well. So even I think most people will be able to play this 1440p around 60 frames per second with a 3060 Ti or even with a 6800 non-XT from AMD. Regarding CPUs, even a 5600 non-X can do the job here. So in terms of RAM, of course, the recommended is always at the moment 16 gigabytes. And if you want to go for ray tracing and everything, then it's over the top thing here. But yeah, I think the specs are not very demanding here. The only thing that the ray tracing thing here they aim for is with the upscaling technology. If you enable ray tracing, the aiming for the frame rates here, from what I understood, you got a caveat here. It's interesting how they're going about it. But yeah, I don't think we have a lot of issues playing this at 1080p 60 frames per second or even 1440p with the current like mainstream GPU stuff that's going around. Only if you have like very old hardware, you might have some issues. And of course, recommended SSD for every step regarding the storage here. Yeah, it's here. As for upscalers, the presence of all of them, which is good. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think the game should be good. It had great reviews on the PS5, so there is only a matter of how good the PC port it is in terms of performance of the hardware that is shown there. But yeah. We got some other news. We got the Banishers Ghost of Eden. It's got a release date now, November 7th, for PS5, Xbox stuff, and PC. I'm still a little bit on the fence here. I like the combat that they showed, but it didn't show like very much. It was the last trailer before this one. This doesn't have anything. It's just some. It's just 1 minute of a tease to reveal the release date. There was a trailer before this one that showed a little bit of the combat, just quick snippets. I didn't get a sense of how fluid the combat can be. There is some interesting actions between the ghost form of the lady, which is called Red. I don't remember the names of the characters here. Please help me. I know that. Yeah. No, Antia and Red. Antia is the lady, and Red is the guy. Yeah. So basically, they are ghost hunters to a certain point, or exorcist of ghosts, whatever you want to call it. And basically, she become a ghost, and I think there is a way to go. They are trying to find a way to reverse that. So to a certain point, I think there is some interesting on the story regarding how you can reverse not being a spirit, because for all intents and purpose, if you're dead, you're a spirit. So if is she dead, or it was like a curse or something like that? I don't know. But even the combat snippet that we saw, at least from my part, didn't give a lot of like a good sense of how fluid and how good it can be. But I'm a little on the fence on this game for now, mainly because they're trying to set up this in 1640 something. The time date here from where is it? I forgot to. I think the game is the setting is 1640 something in North America. Kind of a weird thing here. We'll see how it goes. I hope it's a good game. But yeah, November 7th, it's on my wish list, so I can keep a track on it. But yeah, this at the moment it's like the main information that we have. There's been a game that came out, Testament: The Order of High Human. Didn't have like good reviews, at least the ones that I checked. It's kind of a Skyrim wannabe. I covered this game a little bit. It seemed interesting how they're going about it, but at the moment doesn't seem pretty like good per se. That's not good. Your demo is about to expire. You should always have the demo there, especially if you're an indie developer to showcase your game. People have a taste of the game. But I think that the game is kind of very dull. It's not very good. What they try to do here, the mechanic that takes place, seems not very good. Okay, the review that I saw from IGN, I just give it a quick glance. But yeah, the game is out. It's a shame they removed the goddamn demo. But yeah, the kind of mixed at the moment. We'll see how it goes. Only 10 reviews, but don't bet to be an excellent game. We'll see how it goes. We got also Jagged Alliance came out, and here in WCCF Tech it got around an 8.5 out of 10. Seems pretty good. Very inspired from the second one. If you like this kind of games, it's very intricate and very detailed in a lot of stuff and mechanics and how they're going about it. So it's more kind of not complicated but more detailed than XCOM kind of style games. You have to do more stuff. You have to be more micromanaging than XCOM, let's say that way. But yeah, it seems pretty good. The only cons is like a few bugs that might creep here and there, and feels a little bit too rushed as you watching your finances. In other reviews I saw that money for them, I think it's mainly how you play the game, depending on how you're going about it. They said that finances were not an issue. They said even that they thought that the finances should be more stifled, to say, so you don't have access to that much. I think it depends a lot of how you play the game. But again, excellent balanced strategy layer. It's got to do a lot of capturing like the parts of the map, and has to do with also resource management with mines and everything, liberating outposts and all that stuff. Great tactical action, packed with engaging story side quests, which is always good, and a good looking and sounding game that does exactly what it needs to do in this kind of game, which is always good to see. I think it's one of those that it's well worth playing. Still no user reviews because it was launched, like the reviews came out yesterday, so the game is launching today, the 14th. I saw another reviews. They are kind of about the same. Depending on how you play it, they have some cons regarding like the money system or other stuff, or even like squad management. It's have to do a lot how you try to play the game, a kind of approach that you make. But yeah, the overall thing is it's around 8.5 to 9, so excellent to very good. And it's 20% off if you're curious about it. It's still not even only unlocks in 4 hours, at least in my time frame. But yeah, it should have like a demo. As always, I like demos, so you can have a taste of what the game is. But yeah, it will launch in a few hours, so it should be already launched when I publish the video, I think. But yeah, it is what it is. It's we got now some like upcoming games for you to wishlist, and in this case, The Invisible as a demos out. This game is, I'm very interested in this because I like this kind of storytelling game. It's like a single player. It's very linear, but remind me a little bit of the last game I played like this, Firewatch, I think. But I like the setup here and the art style here. Very like 50s new era stuff here, and NASA 50s kind of feel there. A lot of mysteries here. Supposedly you are investigating what happened in, I think it's on Mars. No, Reggie's third. It seems like very similar to Mars, but yeah, you got a demo here to try out and see if you like what you have for the demo. And also we got here the Lamplighters League. This is the upcoming games they're going to launch this year, October 3rd. This is again similar to XCOM kind of gameplay loop here in terms of strategy and tactical layer. It has some notes from like Miasma Chronicles, Mutineer Zero kind of gameplay also. How you can set up your squad to ambush and everything, and it's the usual stuff. You get your home base to upgrade, your skills to upgrade on your tunes, then you got your game loop of the missions itself, and it seems pretty kind of an Indiana Jones kind of style, inspired theme here on how they're going about it, and the fact that it's set up around that time frame, and you got some spirit stuff here. We'll see how it goes. I think you fight against Nazis. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's one of those that I really want to try out, and I like this kind of games. It's my jam here. This and roguelike games. And for gaming deals, the summer Steam sale finished up. So we got Planet of Lana. This is a very good game, like a puzzle game. It's 20% off, so it was launched like 1 month ago, give or take. It seems pretty good. The mechanics, how you're going about it, it's like around the planet and got an alien invasion. As you can see here, you got like a little catty thingy here, like an alien cat to help you out on the puzzles and like distract the robot stuff. And also we got Bleaksword DX. Got very positive. It's very interesting, the mechanics here. It's like pixel art, roguelike hack and slash, but it's like this kind of dioramas almost situations here. I don't know how you pass through each level, but it seems like Souls-like difficulty kind of combat, and the fact that it's like 2.5D kind of thing seems pretty interesting. How they're going about it. It's one of those, and it's not very expensive. It's like 10% off. Also, it's going to end. I don't know, but it's even then it's like $10 if it is not on sale, which is a very cheap game. And yeah, it's very positive. It's from Devolver Digital Publishing, so they all usually publish good games. And finally, we got Scorn. It's got the most positive reviews. It's got a bit of weird here. I think the story is not that well conveyed, because there is I'm not sure if there is even dialogue, but there is no like talking people here. It seems it's about trying to do everything atmospheric. It's got a Geiger-esque kind of feel here, but I think that 60% off, I think it's a decent deal for this game to try out. It's something different. That's something you don't see a lot. Very Geiger-esque indeed. But yeah, 60% off. It is what it is. If you want to try out, I think it's worth it for the price. At least the reviews that I saw, they said, okay, at least wait for a decent deal and try out to see if it's something for you. I think this kind of games should have, again, demos. I think Steam is pushing a little bit on the developers to put some demos here. At least that's my perception. But yeah, these are the deals that are on Steam that caught my attention. And I'm going to wrap up for today, guys, with my GoFundMe for me to upgrade my PC to get better, more content from my private clients, and of course start doing some video stuff for them. And in my free spare time, do the daily videos that I'll be doing with better quality. Doing also some scripted content for me to get in some deep dives in some subjects that I like to talk about, resuming my gameplay series, and doing some live streams in the near future possibly. And with all that said, guys, hope you have a full day, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, Kunamy Master out.